points in an exact moment when I thought I need to be a musician. I think I've just always had it, you know, from very young, influenced by quite a lot of things really. My father having an old guitar and playing little bits used to show me little tiny things on guitar, and so I think it was always kind of instilled into me. It was my dad's guitar that was my dad's guitar. It was nice to, I mean, the starting point for this album came just over 2 years ago now, where I managed to find 15 or 20 minutes or so to finish off the lyrics to Send the Ships, the opening track of the album, and that really sparked the idea for me to put this into an album. I had loads of kind of unfinished ideas, and I thought, you know, I've just completed this one, let's put it into an album. So 2 years ago that happened. So that was a key point for me, because it was kind of really opened up a fire inside of me to drive forward and to get this done, and to release everything that I'd had inside of me for so many years. A lifetime of emotions gone into the writing of this album. Affected by numerous different situations through life, from touring around, being away from your family, to raising a family, to the stresses of everyday life. Everything is encompassed, but like with a real kind of, it's a real uncertainty, a real darkness to the beds, the entire album to me, which was a concern only because I feel this stuff has come from within. So to get that stuff out is obviously a good thing. But also elements of the album seem to just happen, just appear. And for me, that was certainly the darker elements. I wonder of where that's come from. That was a worry and a concern of like myself and the conversation, the concept of many debates with lots of different people about that kind of dark element, because I feel like I'm quite accomplished with my songwriting, the achievements I've had so far. So then to come away and to write an album that is completely like a mystery to me in many elements was like strange. And then the concept of how that happened, how it became so dark. Is it from within, or I feel at times there was something that, not that I feel I'm special in any way, but externally, either channeling into something or being approached by something outside of me. There's maybe not so much a bigger worry than if all of this is inside.
Hey!
Okay.
How's it going? You alright?
Nice to see you, man.
And you, man, come on in, come on in.
The big man in?
He is. He's all back.
Hey! Good. Working well.
My name's Al Groves. I mixed and did some additional production for the record because I needed somebody to be able to mix the album. And then through that process, we ended up doing a bit of additional production, taking some songs and kind of reimagining the vision on that song and how the kind of how the story was presented. We kind of enhanced some of that and rejigged some of it. It was done in various places, you know, churches and bedrooms and living rooms and kind of various things across Liverpool. There were some compromises made on some of like the amount of mics we could use or the background noises on certain things and those bits and bobs. But really, we twisted those to make them into kind of something that lent character to the album and kind of made a more organic piece of work rather than something that was too perfect and too well considered. It was the little note, you know, the car going past the church, or the door banging, or the little rustle on the acoustic that they added to the kind of the sentiment of the album, and the kind of listening experience, really.
It's one of the most amazing things for me on the album is the drums, you know.
Yeah.
And even though in the moment it's kind of like, the final product, like particularly with like Tower and Plans, especially for me, is like the drum sounds, and Canyons Blue actually. The drum sounds for those 2 tracks were just like absolutely astounding. So kind of so in keeping with like the vibe of the album.
Yeah. Are you happy with the record?
It's absolutely bowled over, you know. It's kind of, I've been through a sea of emotions between like the mastering session and now.
Yeah.
Kind of like, as I mentioned, it's just different days give you different vibes for the song. I guess depending on how you feel and how reflected you are on the album.
Yeah. Got a very unique voice, anyway. Oh, Jesus, yeah, he does.
Soldiers, castles in the air. So many.
I imagine Keith Richards singing. Yeah, it sounds like him. There's actually a documentary of Phil Hardy's today about Keith Richards' box, mate. I found out the day that the person I know is Ronnie Wood's niece.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Small world.
He hired me to produce the album. Well, co-produce, he mainly done a lot of the production himself. He's quite focused on what he's doing. And me and a fellow partner, Phil Hartley, done a lot of the recording. So we'd recorded strings in one church, and he wasn't pleased with the results, and nor was I, to be honest. He organised 3 string musicians to come in and play, and I told him that if we don't record everything on the first or second take, then it wasn't going to get finished, and the result was amazing. We got out of there with 10 minutes to spare. It was one of those things where it all just comes together.
I mean, that was such a... I remember waking in the middle of the night and playing that song from an early Pro Tools session I'd had, and finding a solo ballerina on YouTube, and then playing the music over the video, and it just working beautifully, you know. I mean, we had some difficulties with that video, only logistics, because the Dream, she was in a really dilapidated theatre with the seats torn out and rubble and dust everywhere, and we tried to get some theatres locally to do that, but logistically to cover the health and safety, and then to draft in the power to run the cameras and the lights was nigh on impossible, you know. But the final product that came of it was brilliant, you know, and it kind of it appeased the thoughts that I'd had. It was pretty much how I had imagined it, you know, which is great to come away from something like that.
He knew what he wanted the end result to be before it even started, which is, it's an amazing skill he's got. A lot of it was quite a cathartic experience. So a lot of the songs were really personal to him emotionally. So a lot of the time we had a really hard time recording one track, You Should Be Proud, and on a number of occasions he started to break down, which in turn I was in the mood and the vibe of the whole song, which in turn started me to break down, and then we'd come back and then we'd try it a second or third time, and then it was really, really hard. It was almost painful for both of us, but I think that's the best thing about it, is that it was painful and it helped him with a lot of the stuff that he's feeling.
I think it's a very opaque window into his outlook on a lot of things, primarily his outlook on music, and I think how he hears it and how he creates music that is very potent in how it connects with somebody. Whether it connects with them on a positive way or in a negative way is kind of, that's part of the charm of it. Some things make you feel uncomfortable, and some of the parts on the record are designed, I think, to be harrowing and to be, you know, kind of off-putting, and other things are just joy and pure, you know, euphoric happiness. And I just think it's this really, really vivid window into his outlook on that, and also his outlook on his life in general. You know, we talked an awful lot about his son Isaac, and his, you know, like his whole involvement and learning to be a dad. And I think that the conversations that we had, that kind of reflected in some of the mixes that we did.
But the official album playback was brilliant. To get to that point where I got a selection of amazing musicians together to perform with me and to do it in front of people who love the project and the press, and that was a really key moment. But there's been so many. I mean, that was the sort of the top and tail of the entire project. But I mean, obviously, working with the amount of people that I have done, so many amazing people that have come on board, from directors to producers to engineers to musicians to photographers, to just right across the board. It's been a tough 2 years, but it's been amazing. Just rewriting it for me. Just improv, yeah. It's fine.
Making music is one thing, but helping somebody achieve an emotional outlet that everybody else can identify with it's a beautiful thing, and that's what makes it worth doing, really.
Snowdrop Eyes, take one. Sorry, and again. Loser. Isaac is my little boy. He's just turned 4 years old. He's my biggest fan, as I am his biggest fan. I think a lot of the albums is consciously or subconsciously written about Isaac and the difficulties faced with, for instance, having a breakdown in communications was a big thing for me with people or whatever, and focusing on this little entity that you have kind of trapped in the middle. You know, how do they view this? Do they have the same feelings as you? There's been times when he's obviously been aware of things going on around him, and he's done his utmost to kind of deflect the situation or the conversation away from what's happening, which is heartbreaking, you know, because as a father you want to protect. Very affirming for me when he sings along and he asks for specific songs on the album, you know. So he's obviously got enough of a knowledge to know what he likes, and he tells me to skip the tracks that he doesn't like. Just press the button, he says. So I do, and we move on to the next one quickly.
Sending all the ships to sea.
for him to be so young and to be so moved by something I've done.
Tides divided and the side of all the land slipped away. The sight of mist uneases me. I wonder what it holds in store.
I feel like as a nation we're becoming more and more dissonant. You know, I think we pull against each other as opposed to pull together. That's not a generalisation, that's not all the time, but I do feel like we're certainly losing touch with each other. And that is another massive thing for me, you know, how like a distant society has become and will become in the future. And you wonder about 15, 20 years when Isaac's coming of age, what is the world going to be like then, you know?